All right, we're here with head coach John Cooper for our weekly press conference. Coach, got the win over Muskegum on Friday and got a lot of players' experience for playing their first game. How important was that?
Well, I think anytime you have a chance to play under the lights for the first time, particularly when you've got so many newcomers as we do, those experiences are all important. And so, to be able to get the guys in the game and to get their feet wet, and just to get adjusted, it's always different than practice. The game's moving a lot faster, and you're having to execute, and you're having to control your nerves, and really just get your whole self just settled. And so I think if you take a look at the game early, you could tell there were some nerves there, and we weren't really quite flowing smoothly. And finally, as the game went on, we started to settle down a little bit, moving the basketball, and made some shots and executed offensively. So happy with that part of it, but we've certainly got a lot of work to do, and we've got to get better.
One of the big bright spots in that game was freshman Michael Weathers, 21 points and 7 rebounds. Can you talk a little bit about his game?
Well, obviously Michael has some ability. He's got great size for the position, and being 6'3", and he's got length, and he's got some athleticism. But, just like any other freshman, you take a look at the overall game, and we look at it with a different eye because we sit and we watch the film. He's got some areas that he's certainly got to get better in, and he's got to understand, and more so from a defensive standpoint, of not, taking any plays off and being locked in and focused each and every possession throughout its entirety. But I thought he was one of the guys that was a little bit tired early in the game, and I think that was more nerves than anything else. But, he was able to get us going, and he was able to score and get some things in transition and made some shots. So he's got ability. He's got to continue to get better and continue to work, but he's got a terrific attitude, and so I think that'll bode well for him as he gets more and more experience.
First road game of the season coming up against Wright State. How will it be like? How will it be like taking a young team like that on the road, and what can we expect from Wright State?
Well, I think when you talk about going on the road in general, if you're an experienced team, you understand that you've got to take care of the basketball, that you've got to really execute on the road, and you've got to be locked in, and you've got to have mental toughness. Now, when you look at taking a young team on the road, they don't necessarily always understand that and know that. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. That may be a good thing. But, we've got to take care of the ball much better than we did here at home against Muskegum, and it starts there. We've got to rebound the ball. We've got to be able to guard and keep people in front of us. When you look at Wright State, and they went on the road and won at Southern Illinois, and the way they did it, I thought was quite impressive in that, they were down, I want to say maybe 15 in the first half, but yet and still they stuck to their game plan, and they just continued to play. You're talking about a team that, for all practical purposes, they start 5 guards, and yet and still they do a terrific job of rebounding the basketball because they just swarm the ball. And then, of course, they make you have to guard. They've got multiple guys that have the ability to really put the ball down on the deck and get to the rim. And so, and then, of course, they have guys that can shoot the ball. So you're talking about a team that, if you think of playing summer league basketball, you walk out and they're 6'4", and you may be 6'9", 6'8", but yet and still you can't beat them because they go out and they play the game, they compete, and they dare you to try to, match up to what they do. And so, obviously, Scott's done a terrific job. Coach Nagy's there has done a terrific job previously at South Dakota State. And then, of course, and now he comes here, and he's already putting his prints on it. And so they have some good players that were returning, guys that have experience coming off of winning 22 games last year. I believe it was 22 last year. So they have kids in their program that are used to winning. So, for us to go there, we're going to have to play extremely well. And I want to say it's been since 2008 that Miami's gone on the road to win at Wright State.
All right, well, tournament is coming up this weekend, the Target Sports Classic. Obviously, you haven't really looked at the opponents yet since you're focused on Wright State.
Right.
But there is, in general, the tournament, you're going to have to play 3 games in 3 days. What will the fatigue factor be like, and why is that a good experience for the team?
Well, number one, anytime you play in a tournament, I think it prepares you for down the road if you're playing in your conference tournament or if you have the opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament. Of course, the NCAA tournament, you're going to have one day off in between your games. But when you get to your conference tournament, once you start playing, you're playing every day. And so I think that's something that's important, particularly for us, particularly for playing in the MAC. And so you've got to be able to play the game, execute, and yet still have some fatigue and be able to come back and do it all over again. And so I think this is a really good test. I think it's a really good barometer for our team. Our team is young, but this will be good for them. And so we open up with Delaware, and then, we go to Austin Peay, and then we have Northern Kentucky. So you have 3 teams that you're going to have to play very well in order to win. And, last year we go 2-1. The goal is always to go 3-0, but most importantly, you have to take care of just the first game, and then you worry about the next 2.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.